First, give yourselves a round of applause for coming out at 5:30 today. That's what I'm talking about. So with the regards of just different speakers that is here, I think the first person we have coming up is Rhonda Brown and the Lynx crew. Look, sister, you come on up. Come on. Well, we have Ms. Ward as well. I'm sorry. Let me have the mic. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Dana Capers, and I am the president of the Western Reserve Ohio chapter of the Lynx Incorporated. The Lynx is a public service organization. We are friends who do service. So we are committed to really helping people of African American descent and to helping in the neighborhoods and really serving all people. We have had a special relationship with the Central Neighborhood right here in the Friendly Inn Settlement. We have been engaged in the community in terms of providing services, including mammograms. We have had opportunities to bring the solar eclipse party here. We have done our community baby shower because we're committed to maternal health. So we are excited to partner and to really make an impact in the Central Neighborhood. And we have a special program that we're launching soon, and I'm going to turn it over to one of our members, Candace, to talk about it.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Candace LaRochelle. I stand here with my Lynx sisters and fellow co-chair of Health and Human Services, Ms. Nicole Ward, to talk with you more briefly about what we're looking to do in the Central Neighborhood. As our president, Dana, talked about what we've been doing, we're looking to expand. And one of the wonderful things that Lynx does is that we provide dynamic programming in communities around the country. And with a Friendly Inn and continuing our partnership here in Central Neighborhood, we're looking at expanding our services with one of our signature programs called LAMS. It's Lynx aiding in making mothers and babies strong. So what that program will do is provide mothers and babies and families really a pathway to better health and better lives. We look to aid in workforce development, therapeutic services, anything, food and transportation, as well as arts enhancement, where we're really looking to help mothers and children become stronger. Because we know when you strengthen a mother, you strengthen the community. You strengthen the home, and you put the family really on a trajectory to change their lives. So we're looking to make transformational and generational change here in the Central Neighborhood. And we thank Councilman Starr, the Friendly Inn, for allowing us this opportunity. But we just wanted to come here and let you know, when you see this information about our programming, please come to Friendly Inn. Please encourage your families. Please encourage your aunts, your cousins, your sisters, anybody to come out here and work with us, because we are here to help and work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Give them a round of applause for the Lynx chapter. We do have a representatives from the Waste Division who want to share a couple updates from what's going on with waste. I know one, trash service is going to be the same as scheduled tomorrow. I already heard.
Well, that's a good thing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sharita Anglin, and I am the Assistant Commissioner for the Division of Waste. I didn't know that I was going to come up here and speak today. So again, what Councilman Starr said about the services continuing tomorrow, we will have services tomorrow. But just in case some of you don't know, waste collection, we do a curbside pickup, we do commercial services, we also rent dumpsters. So yes, I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have. Yep. All right.
Thank you. So we got waste in the building. We do have a representative from Sisters of Charity.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angela Flowers, and I am representing Sisters of Charity Health System to talk about our summer programming for our youth and central community. The Pathways to Purpose summer program is more than just a program, it's an entire experience. We are currently recruiting youth that are 5 to 18. And so our programs are going to be held here at Friendly Inn and at Tri-C Metro, and hopefully at the Recreation Center as well. The programs focus more on academic enrichment, social and emotional learning, and career pathways. Our youngsters that are 6th grade and up are able to receive a stipend in order to participate. And some of our career pathways include construction, we have cosmetology, we have an STNA, CNA program with the Gardens of Fairfax Healthcare Center, where youth that are 16 and over are going to receive their industry credential for nursing and then placed into a job. We also have some other pathways that include STEM activities and 20 partnerships with local organizations that are here to serve our youth and central community. The postcards are on the back table. There is a QR code that will take you directly to the application, stvincent.hhh.org. Sisters of Charity has provided the funding in addition to the City of Cleveland for this particular program. We are hoping to serve 1,000 youth right here in central community. We know that passive time in the summertime can lead to other things. We want to make sure that we're occupying our students with just important access to the arts, to music, and of course, exposure field trips. They are going to operate and run a store right inside of Central Community. They are going to also make their own clothing brand that's going to be branded with Central information. And so we have been going door to door with our youth ambassadors that are paid to help promote the program. We've already been to Carver Park already to pass out door hangers. We'll be going into some of the other properties in the area as well, but our youngsters are so excited. We've been over at Lonnie Burton providing some free programming during the week, and they're so engaged, and we want to make sure that all of our kids have something to do in the central community this summer. So please, please, please register now. It is a free program and transportation is provided.
That's what I'm talking about, resources. We do have representatives from 3rd Federal to come share a couple of different things going on with 3rd Federal. So 3rd Federal, Taru.
Good evening, everyone. This is home buying season. In 3rd Federal, we want to make sure that we are able to help people to dream the dream of home ownership. And we have a home buying program that comes with $13,000 of down payment assistance if you're looking to purchase a property in Ward 5. In Ward 5. We typically have the lowest rate. We're non-commissioned loan administrators who will do the loan for you. Our program is a 4-series, it's a Zoom call, 2 hours, 6:30 to 8:30 on Tuesdays. It's going to talk about the home buying process from beginning to end. After that, we will partner you with a HUD-certified credit counselor who will look at your personal situation. If you're ready to purchase a home after that conversation, great. They will give you a certificate. That certificate will be worth $13,000 for down payment assistance if you're purchasing in this community. If you make less than $78,000 and you're purchasing anywhere in Cuyahoga County, you'll be eligible for that $13,000 as well. We know that home ownership unlocks financial security.
Yes.
We know that home ownership removes barriers for financial security. You can pass down generational wealth to your family members with that. So our program is designed to make you a successful homeowner. So that's what our down payment assistance is designed to do, is to also make home buying more affordable as well. All right?
Yep. Give Jason a round of applause. Give Jason a round of applause.
Make sure you check out the table over here for more details on our home buying program.
Yep. Give them a round of applause. That's what I'm talking about. We need home ownership. And I believe the next couple speakers we have 3rd District and 4th District commanders here to give updates from police. Oh, no, I know y'all. And also that we do, after that we have Tiffany, our 3rd District rep, who always provide updates as well.
Thank you, Councilman. I appreciate it.
Well, wait, is Sutton here?
He's actually
Hello, everyone. I just want to introduce myself, Mark Maguth, and it's my pleasure to serve as the commander of the 3rd District. I won't take up too much time. I know we have a lot of people, some important people, and things to get to. But we do have a monthly meeting. It's the 3rd Tuesday of every month at the 3rd District, so 4501 Chester. Please feel free to come out and have a conversation. I'm going to stay here after, so if you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to come up and I'll work with you on that, okay? So I appreciate, again, just to be here.
Thank you. All righty. So that's Commander Magoo, and I am Tiffany McClay. Some of you may know me, but for the ones that don't, I'm the 3rd District Representative. I work with the police. I work with City Council and just helping to make the city better. So I always tell people I'm definitely a person that you want to get the information from. That way, if you have some complaints, you have some concerns, I can help you with it. Even if I don't have the answers, I can get the answers to you. I handle safety fairs, resource fairs. I know I was gonna be talking today, but I got my pink on. I'm trying to bring the spring in. We also have some community builder flyers, and I would definitely love the support from the 3rd District. We have our community builders meeting. It is going to be at Trinity Commons, and it's just where we get the community together to listen to you guys, because the community is only as good as we are. So if y'all see these flyers, please make sure y'all register, and please make sure y'all come out and support us. We do feed you, we have a good time, and we talk about topics that you guys, that's important to you guys. Also, like the commander said, we do have our district meetings every month. Now, when I come to wards, the ward meetings, they be lit. But when it comes to the commander meeting, we need more support there as a district, as a whole. So we love to have our wards doing things, and I'm always here to support Starr. I work with Stephanie House-Jones, Deborah Gray, Austin Davis. So I got a big area now, but we would love for you guys to come to our district meeting. And then also what we're doing now is we are having a meeting for you guys to get to know us better, to know what we do. Because believe it or not, when y'all complain, who y'all think get the complaint? I do. So my first meeting will be at the Union Library, the Union Branch Library. I will have Mr. John Mahoney. We're going to be talking about scams, because there's so much stuff going on out here today. We want to make sure that we keep the community updated. And so that is April the 9th from 1 to 2 p.m. And I will be here, so if you need my information, I have cards back there and all that good stuff. We did go out canvassing in that area earlier this week. Myself, my director, she always boots on the ground. So we went out in that area and canvassed because we want to get, new people, because believe it or not, people don't know what's going on in the city. So that's our job. So I'm the vital link between the city of Cleveland and the community. So that's all I have.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sean Smith. I'm the acting commander of the 4th District, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight. This is my first time here at Ward 5 meeting. Councilman Starr crosses over into the 4th District. I've been acting commander there since September, and we're doing great things in the 4th District. So if you live in the 4th District and you got any problems, you can email me. You can see Officer Harder in the back. We'll take your complaints today if you have any, or if you just want to say good job, we'll take that too. My meetings are every 4th Wednesday of the month, and we've been moving them around. The 4th District is so large, and we have people that can't get to places, so I started moving them around to different locations. So the next 2 meetings is going to be at the Holy Trinity Church on 131st by Corlett. So welcome to come in and see us, right? The more we have, the better. A wise person told me, fingers all by themselves aren't that strong, but when you bring them together, it's a lot stronger, right? Yes. So we need all you to come to these meetings, all right? Yep. All right, have a good night.
Now I want to make sure I put the first bid in. He said he's the acting commander. I said he needs to be the 4th District commander. If you talk about work that's going on in the 4th District, Commander Smith answers, responds, and he sends officers. How many of y'all have had a problem with people just parking all on the side of anybody's street? I brought that up to Commander Smith. He had a whole crew out there ticketing, telling them to get it off. And one of the things he told some residents was, you don't do it in Bedford, you don't do it in Westlake, you ain't doing it in the city of Cleveland. That's called leadership. So give it up for that. That's what we need. That's what we need. I think that's pretty much it. No, I almost forgot. I almost forgot. If you're running for office, you get 2 minutes. And I mean 2 minutes. This is Ward 5. We don't do that. So if you want to come share some updates about yourself and you're running for office, you got 2 minutes. Come on up. Don't be afraid. I see y'all in the crowd. Don't be afraid.
Thank you much. Hi, everybody. I'm Judge William Vaudry. I'm up for re-election this year. Thank you. Great to be back here among you all here in Ward 5. Thank you for all the hard work you're doing to build American democracy, to protect American democracy. I'm Judge William Vaudry, V as in Virginia, O-D-R-E-Y. Just remember to vote Vaudry. It's very easy. I'm honored to have the mayor's endorsement, hoping to win the councilman's endorsement as well. I have Councilman Brian Casey's endorsement as well, in addition to Marcia Fudge, our former Congresswoman and HUD Secretary, and the County Democratic Party. I am up for re-election, and I'm in a contested primary. I'm the only Democratic incumbent judge who's up against an opponent in the primary, so please be sure to vote on May 5th. Early voting starts April 7th, and I hope you all vote Vaudry. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Next up. Step over there.
All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike Seals, and I am a candidate for Ohio House District 20. A little about me. Very committed to my community. For the last 8 years, I've served as ward leader, ward club president of Cleveland Ward 7, which is now the new Ward 8. Recently retired from SEIU 1199, the Service Employees International Union, where I worked as an administrative organizer and a political field coordinator. As administrative organizer, my responsibility was to bargain good contracts and advocate for the rights of the workers. As a political field coordinator, it allowed me the honors to work on such statewide initiatives as Senate Bill 5, where they were trying to take away the rights of workers, public workers, to organize, which was the largest attack on organized labor in American history, and we won. Most recently, 2024, I worked on 2 statewide initiatives at the same time, gerrymandering and the minimum wage initiatives. And I'm saying that to say this, my preparation for this position is so great that I am the best candidate for this position. My name is Mike Seals, and I'm running for Ohio House District 20. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike Seals. Thank you, Mike Seals. Next up.
Lauren R. Welch, your former Cleveland City Councilwoman last year for Ward 7. I'm running for House District 20 for state rep. And I'm so grateful to be in front of you today because even though I'm a daughter of Ward 3, I actually went to Jane Addams Business Career Center just around the corner from you. I'm sad to report that Jane Addams, as many of you know, has closed. And I have to tell you, I'm running for state rep because who wants their schools to be stayed open? Who wants their schools to be fully funded? Well, that happens at the State House when we have money coming down the pipeline. Who's tired of their taxes being high? Who's tired of the rent being too high? Right? This is the time that we need representation in that seat to make sure that you get what you need and that the living that you have is affordable. So I'm Lauren R. Welch. You can visit me at electwelch.com. Please vote for me on May 5th.
Good evening. Okay, good evening. I'm Charlotte Perkins, and I am also running for District 20. Charlotte Perkins. I was a police officer for over 25 years. I am a business owner for over 28 years. I know how to deal with the Republicans in Columbus. Because in order for me to have been successful as I am, and I'm in the district, 79 Superior, RCAP Security, I know how to deal with the people in Columbus. Because like I said, in order to be successful, you have to understand and know their language, and I do. Also, I am an advocate for our children. Every child who commits a crime should not have to go into the system. There are programs that we need to fund. The state can fund those programs. We need to make sure, because every child has a different story. Every child doesn't need to go in the system. A vote for Charlotte will make sure that happens. Another thing, our elderly. We have to take care of our elderly because one day we're gonna all get there. I'm gonna make sure that there's funding for our elderly. Fraud unit, I'm gonna make sure that they provide funding so that the police department can have a fraud unit like they had when I was on the job. Thank you. Charlotte Perkins, make it.
All right. Okay, now I ain't gonna be messy, but you know they all running against each other. Just in case you asleep. So you only can vote for one of them. When is the election?
May 5th.
May 5th, all right now. I see some people in here know what the day is. Just a couple updates from my office. Just a reminder, Lamont is our new executive assistant right here, Lamont. If you need anything from the office, get with Lamont. Our Council A representative is Donna Butler, who you see in the back. If you need anything from the office. If you need something, you can call the office 216-664-2309. I do not answer them DMs. Unless I tell you to jump in the DM. But one of the things is so we can streamline our process to get things done. If you have non-emergency services that is needed in the city of Cleveland, you dial which number?
That's great. That's great to hear.
Come on, man. This is what we do in Ward 5. Come on, man. He ain't know where he at. All right. Just quick updates from the agenda. We have meet and greets that we're spreading around. One of the things we want to do is take our meeting on the road in different parts of the neighborhood. So our first meet and greet will be April 9th at the arcade located at 401 Euclid from 5:30 to 7:30. Then we're going to have another meet and greet on April 23rd at Sterling Library on East 30th Street. So every second and every fourth Thursday of the month, we will host a meet and greet in a different neighborhood for us to talk to residents about issues so they can get to the information that they need in the community. We will have different vendors, different guests, just so we can be able to wrap and talk about different things. And so every first Thursday of the month is our community meeting at Friendly Inn. Every second and fourth Thursday of the month, we will be in a different neighborhood in Ward 5. Also, be mindful, on April 10th, we do have our community legal aid clinic, which is going to be some reentry support from at Tri-C Metro from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you need any resources, if you know somebody that needs some resources, don't just mention it to them. Let them know and get it to them so they can get that information. Don't hog it up for yourself. Tell the other person that they need the help and get them out there. Also, on April 10th, we do have from 10 to 12 o'clock, Coffees with a Cop at the Grace Recovery Cafe on East 49th Street. And then on April 18th, we have our Earth Day community cleanup where we launch different cleanups throughout the summer months. So that'll be our first one, and it will be here from 11 to 2 p.m. in partnership with Community Relations Department as well as Friendly Inn and Office of Ward 5. In addition, we do have May 2nd, a 3-on-3 basketball event, and then May 7th, and that basketball event is from 11 to 2 at Friendly Inn, and then for May 7th, we have a community baby shower celebration of motherhood from 11 to 2 at Friendly Inn, and then we will be hosting a Black Teen Male Summit taking place at Tri-C on the Eastern Campus, and that will be on May 9th. You will get a postcard in the mailbox.
Okay.
So check your mailbox. And that's going to be very important. Other than that, I want to say those are me closing announcements of my office. Next, I will bring up a special guest we have here. Before I introduce him, I want to make sure I set the stage on different discussions. Here in Ward 5, we like to get an understanding of what is going on within the city. We like to bring the neighborhood issues to City Hall and not the politics of City Hall to the neighborhood. So what I want to make sure I level set this very important conversation is for us to talk for us to be not biased, for not us just pointing the finger at each other, but just to listen to understand the different things that you're gonna hear from Mayor Bibb, as well as the administration, because some of his team and staff will possibly speak, for us to understand. If you have any questions, any comment, write it down, and at the end, we'll open it up for a Q&A to have an honest dialogue conversation, not talking about anything else but the topic of the consent decree, all right? All right? All right, I'm hoping we vote. That's what, it ain't about that. We're gonna have an open conversation and we can talk about it, but I wanna make sure we set the tone in Ward 5. We don't do all of that extra stuff. I only do that on TV. But, but one of the things that I think is important, I did pass out from our office was a one-pager about the consent decree. I know you hear different words, different phrases. It's important for you to understand some of the facts and then also be able to hear what Mayor Bibb is thinking about, as well as the administration. So I will turn it over to our very own Mayor Justin Bibb.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give Councilman Starr a round of applause if we can. One of the hardest working men at City Hall. Also want to acknowledge Councilman Brian Casey, who's here. Let him stand up and say hello, Councilman Casey. Thank you for your service and leadership. And we got to give our host a big round of applause, Miss Yolanda Armstrong. Miss Armstrong, thank you so much for having us at the Friendly Settlement. As Councilman Starr mentioned, we are here to listen about the future of policing in Cleveland and the work we're doing and trying to do to better enhance trust between the residents of Cleveland and our police department. Now, one of my favorite mottos goes as this: change moves at the speed of trust. Change moves at the speed of trust. And having accountable, constitutionally appropriate policing has been a 100-year project in the city of Cleveland. We all know the stories of how we got to this moment. But I will say, over the last 5 years and over the last 11 years, we have made remarkable progress. But one of the biggest blind spots we have is some folks don't feel that change. Some folks don't feel that trust has been totally repaired. And I believe one of the best things to do is for us to listen, get a common set of shared values and understanding so we can build a better foundation together. Now, we started this process of being under a consent decree, the second, by the way, in the city's history, in 2015. We've been under that consent decree for over 11 years now. And when I took office in my first year, one of the biggest things that we uncovered as an administration was that there was not one person waking up every single day with a sense of urgency to make sure we were compliant with the consent decree. Because permanent federal oversight was never the solution. It was never meant to be here forever. And what we did was we hired one of the best leaders in the country around how we deliver on constitutionally appropriate policing in Dr. Lee Anderson. Dr. Anderson was and continues to be on the monitoring team for the Ferguson Police Department. Her grandfather was the first black police officer, I believe, in the city of St. Louis. She's done work around this in Chicago and is considered one of the best experts in the country. Did you know that there are over 300 paragraphs in the consent decree? 300. Did you know that we have the most oversight in the country in terms of policing? Did you know since 2015 we spent $40 million on the consent decree. Now, we're not going to spare any expense to make sure we don't get this moment right. But I will say, we have to make sure we build the systems locally to control our own destiny as a city. And the big part of making sure that this work is sustained over time for future councils, future mayors, future police chiefs, future command staffs, is to make sure we build that trust. And we can't build that trust without you. So now I'm going to have Dr. Anderson come and talk about the exercise we're going to do this evening. Dr. Anderson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction, Mayor. Again, my name is Dr. Lee Anderson, and I am the Executive Director for the Police Accountability Team through the Mayor's Office here for the City of Cleveland. It is an absolute pleasure to be in this role. Not because it's anything fancy about it, but because it's where trust meets problems, meets levels of feeling uncomfortable, meets history, meets progress. It's where we're all meeting in the middle to figure out how we move forward and what policing needs to look like for us, and not just us, but the young people in this room. And so I want to first start by saying that we released information today that we were awarded a grant, and that grant is with Kent State University. And I'm going to invite Dr. Nader to come to speak about the grant because it's going to frame this conversation and how I then decide to move forward. Dr. Nader, please.
Thank you, Dr. Anderson. Hi, everyone. My name is Elias Nader. I'm a professor at Kent State University, and the grant that we're working on is funded through the Center, the Community Engagement Research Institute at Kent State University. The goal of the project essentially is to build and implement a training program for police leaders and community leaders in the city to take together that can help to support the community and problem-oriented policing efforts the city is undertaking. As a part of this, we as Kent State will build and deliver this kind of training with this heavy focus on training police and community leaders how to work together to implement projects that are necessary to address persistent problems in the city and provide technical assistance in that process, whether it be understanding how to do that, how we can assist these community members or the city in applying for funding to support what needs to be done for these projects and things like that. And so the focus is going to be on trying to build out these interventions in the city. As a part of that, we'll be doing some data collection before and after the program. So this summer, you'll see us around the city doing some survey collecting, as well as some listening sessions with residents across the districts of the city. You'll see a lot of our students involved in that process, and so please be welcoming to them, and we would really like to hear from you guys in that process. Our goal is to use what we learn in that process to help inform how we proceed throughout the year, and then come back next summer, recollect that data in the hopes of starting a cycle for the city in terms of leading with evidence.
Good. Thank you. This is important to me because I am also, not only do I work in public service, but I'm also a professor. So I also teach at Cleveland State University. And one of the things that I like to talk about is the fact that theory, what should be going on, versus practice, what actually happens, and the gap between that. And so what you see now is academia coming together with practice to be able to say, well, this is what should be happening, and I understand that, but this is what's actually happening, and then this is how we get to what's best for residents, what's best for our visitors, and what's best for the police officers and us as an entire community. With that noted, the professor and me must leave you all with some information. So I want to start this by asking true or false, right? Because I think before we can have conversations about where things are headed, I'm just one that is in the belief of genealogy is important. In order to know where you're going, you have to know where you came from, okay? And I believe fully in the Sankofa. I'm not endorsing tattoos, but I have it right here because it's a constant reminder for me, okay? And it needs to be a constant reminder for me in this field. With that noted, the consent decree, and before I wanna sort of hold up, so some of you all have, or you should have on your seat, this handout, okay? This handout talks about the police oversight in Cleveland. Right now, we are underneath the consent decree, as the mayor stated, and that consent decree is overseen by Judge Solomon Oliver, a federal judge. We also have a federal monitoring team that reports directly to the judge that really calls balls and strikes on our compliance and how well we're doing in the space. And then we also have the Department of Justice, which initially brought the allegations against the Cleveland Division of Police in 2014 and well beyond before that, as was previously mentioned. With that, I just want to note that the consent decree is a settlement agreement between the U.S. Department of Justice and the City of Cleveland, overseen by the federal judge. And it covers 8 areas. And I'm going to talk about 3 of those areas, and then we're going to get into community engagement. But first, I want to talk about what are those areas that are covered. So if you'll follow along with me, right? So the first paragraph, what is the consent decree? Again, I mentioned what it was as a settlement agreement, but it's important to note that it covers accountability, topics regarding bias-free policing, community and problem-oriented policing, or CPOP, crisis intervention, transparency and oversight, searches and seizures, use of force, and officer assistance and support, which also includes the training in there. 3 of the areas that the monitoring team has assessed us on has been use of force, crisis intervention, and search and seizure, okay? So with that, before we turn to the back of the page, I just want to see if we can all get on the same page about some factual understandings. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. True or false? Today, nearly all uses of force by Cleveland police are considered constitutional. Okay. That is actually true. Less than 97% of incidents are considered non-constitutional. Excuse me, over 97% of incidents were considered constitutional by the monitoring team, the independent federal monitoring team. Those that were not considered constitutional, and Chief, where are you? Were identified properly by the chain of command and dealt with and handled accordingly. Okay, let's do another one for crisis intervention.
Dr. Anderson, do you have
Yes.
the number to talk about for incidences?
The full number, I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. Crisis intervention. Most crisis encounters, and this is when someone calls the police or calls for assistance when they are dealing with a mental health, okay, incident, okay? So that's where I'm at. Today, true or false, most crisis encounters result in arrest and or use of force.
Yes.
Okay. That is actually false. So what we know now, according to the Federal Monitor, there's a very low number of arrests. Between 1.5 to 2.1% of calls result in arrests. There's also very low use of force. The national average is about 5%. Are we below or above that average? We are below that average. In fact, we have 0.3 to 0.4% of force that is used currently, according to the Monitor, in crisis intervention calls. And this is information that was filed in independent assessments with the judge. Okay.
One second, once they finish, we will have Q&A as part of this conversation. So, but we're gonna allow everybody to have that conversation as well, so we can all talk about it. So put that point down for you, so we can all discuss it afterwards.
Thank you. And again, these are assessments that I didn't complete. The independent monitor completed them and reported them and filed them on the federal docket to Judge Oliver to report out on numbers that were compiled from evidence, that were compiled from body camera footage, that was also compiled from other areas of data collection. So here's my last one for search and seizure. True or false? Most stops and arrests today meet constitutional standards for police. So when they pull you over, right, search and seizure, they are doing it constitutionally in most cases. True or false? Okay. The monitor found that that was true. In fact, what she noted was that in 95% of stops, they were lawful, and 90% of arrests were supported by probable cause. Now, it's important that we go through this exercise, okay, and many more of them, because it's a matter of not just education, but also my experience. Remember, I talked about theory and practice. Remember, I talked about what should be happening versus what's actually happening. Clearly, from conversation in the room, there's a gap there, right? We're seeking to close that gap. So I am not surprised that it is evident. I'm not surprised that it is present. What I am, though, is also motivated to make sure that we work together to close that gap. With that noted, I want to talk a little bit about the existing areas of police accountability. So if you look on the flip side of the document, what you will find is the local oversight bodies, for the systems here in the city of Cleveland. If you are a part of one of these groups, I ask you to either raise your hand or please stand. The Police Accountability Team, established by the Bibb administration in 2022 to achieve compliance with the consent decree. The Community Police Commission. Anyone here from the CPC? Okay. All right, the Civilian Police Review Board. I see you in the back right there, chairs and members. Greetings. Prosecutor's Office. Okay. Office of Professional Standards. Now that's kind of a double because Office of Professional Standards actually reports to the Community Police Review Board. Okay. We also have Internal Affairs, which is represented by the chief. And then we also have a Public Safety Inspector General. So these are the layers of oversight, external oversight that we have in addition to being in a consent decree. Now, you all will probably remember, or not, we'll talk about it, that, and that's okay, that the city has filed a motion to have the consent decree terminated, okay? We have been in the consent decree for over 11 years. I am not here to convince you for or against. What I am here to do is to widen the lens and say, regardless if the consent decree leaves tomorrow or if it leaves 5 years from now, what conversation haven't we had? What happens after the consent decree leaves? Who has had that conversation in this room?
Zero.
So it's a conversation that we need to be having. And with that noted, the consent decree has been around, like we said, for about 11 years, okay? And what we are noting, is that there has been demonstrable progress. But what we are also understanding is that more work needs to be done. What we are also realizing, and this is me as a researcher, as somebody that's worked in Ferguson, Oakland, Chicago, okay, different areas, New York having to do with police accountability and police reform. When a consent decree goes away, it's lights out. There is no succession plan that is attached to a consent decree. So this is a conversation that it is important that we start having today, regardless of what happens with the motion. And I stand committed to that, okay? Because it's what's going to last. Our trust, okay? How we interact with each other, how we interact with the police department, and furthermore, what we want policing to be for those that are younger than us in this room, because we don't want them to, genealogically speaking, experience what we have experienced. And as a result, we must start having critical conversations about how we move that needle forward and make sure that their experiences are different. Okay? As the mayor noted, we have the most oversight right now in the country, barring Chicago, but really Cleveland has the most oversight. Okay? One of the things that's important to note about that is that I'm not after the most oversight. I'm after the most effective oversight. I want it to work. Okay? So with that noted, I think that it's important to move on to how are we going to sort of look at what happens in the future? What is our policy lens moving forward? Because a us versus them, a yes versus no approach in 11 years hasn't gotten us to the point where public trust has been achieved. And so we must all do this together. So with that note, I am going to start to use our grant from Dr. Nader today, and I'm going to call him back up, and we're going to have some participatory conversation about policing and how we move forward. Sounds good?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for having me back up. I've got just kind of 3 questions for the audience. The goal of this, again, as an exercise, is to practice and start identifying some areas where we've got these kinds of gaps in trust between the police and the community. So I'm looking here for mainly single word answers. We'll have time in the Q&A and I'll be around afterwards if you're interested in sharing in more detail. But in kind of single words, how would you describe the police in your community? Feel free to shout out a word. Don't make me feel like I'm standing in front of students at 8:30 in the morning.
Well, my business is in Ward 5, Councilor Starr.
Mm-hmm.
3rd District have been the best.
Yes.
I've been an urban farmer for 16 years there.
Okay.
I have everything great to say.
The best, reliable.
But I live in Ward 2, 4th District.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4th District. We need some work here.
Okay, so the district-based differences seems to be something I'm hearing from there. Important to address. Some good, some challenges. Other single word style responses.
Not present.
Not present.
Do you have anybody to deal with that's been a victim or been impacted by police with your staff?
Well, we have not started conducting any data collection yet. Part of what we'll do in that process, as far as what I do.
You reached out to an area in Cleveland where people suffered an impact, whether their family was killed by the police or there was a victim of a crime.
Yeah,
And it wasn't the police who killed them.
this is an important question. I'm glad that you raise it. Part of what we'll do throughout the process of trying to collect this data and gather this information is reaching out to those communities. That's going to be difficult for us, understandably, as academics. And so having those connections to that communities, welcoming us into that space or sharing that information with us to help us include those voices in what we're asking the city to do will be important.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Because my brother
Yeah.
got killed by the police. Good luck.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Good luck.
Any other single word type responses? Go ahead.
Yeah, because if they don't, a lot of these young kids is going to get killed. And if they don't stop it now, they can forever be in a situation and into that system.
Yes.
Where they go back and forth to jail.
There's a cycle.
It's a recycle after recycle.
And there's some urgency, right? There's some urgency we want to repeat to stop that cycle.
Right.
We want to put that into place quickly so we can help youth in the
Yeah,
community.
because see, a lot of young kids are getting killed by police.
Yeah. Understood.
Because they're targeted.
I saw your hand up first and then I'll head over there.
Some of them is targeted.
Yes.
Hi, I'm a Keisha Glover and I live in Output Home. And far as CMA, they
to me are awesome. And I also live across the street from Arbor Park, that's Sun, and Cleveland is there all the time. So we have both CMHA and Cleveland police at the same time, every day, 7 days a week. And I really thank God for it. I really do.
Okay. I'm seeing some gratitude. We've got one in the back. Go ahead, sir.
Like being in the city, you know what I'm talking about? Being in the city of Cleveland, you know what I'm saying? We heard a lot of times that we gonna stop the violence. You know what I'm saying? We gonna stop young kids. We gonna stop about young kids getting murdered and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So when it's gonna stop, you know what I'm saying? To me, in my mind, it's not gonna stop, you know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate all y'all, Mr. Bill, you know what I'm talking about? But at the same time, we gotta make a move, you know what I'm saying?
I'm hearing what you're saying, yeah. Again, urgency is coming up. There's a cycle that exists. It's a major challenge. We heard, right, there's a 100-year history in which this change has been trying to have been implemented. And so that is present, right? That does exist. It's a big challenge in front of us, but not one that the city seems like they're interested in shying away from, let's say.
Excuse me.
No, somebody else now.
We got one over there.
I want to speak on police making false police reports. False police reports. Because that's an issue. If you live in a neighborhood, and I've lived in this neighborhood, raised my kid all Longwood to the New, so I know this area. So at the end of the day, there's always been issues and problems with CMHA and how they falsely basically make reports, and that's an issue. My daughter was a victim of a false police report involving my granddaughter, to which she had to fight to get her child back. And at the end of the day, if I don't understand why somebody would just lie on somebody just because of where they live at. And basically, my daughter had to fight for, she just got my granddaughter back. And it's been like almost 5 years. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, if you come into this neighborhood, and I thank Councilman Starr because since Frank Jackson, when he was a council person, he was the best and best. And I ain't seen nothing like it until you. And I have not seen nothing like it as far as representation that really truly advocates for this ward. But if you really gonna come into our neighborhood and come to us, like, we want to see results, but also at the same time, to the community, we got to start doing something about it. It's not just about, the leaders doing something about it. We have to do something about it, because nothing's gonna happen unless you get up off your and you basically let it be known and advocate for what you now, I don't even want to say complaining, but what you're advocating for. Don't just keep on coming up here complaining, because he can only do so much. He can only do so much. And at times, he falls short. I can see it when I follow you on Facebook, and he gets tired. So we need to help this leader. We have a great leader. And if we not backing him up, then what is that saying about our community?
I appreciate the response, and I like hearing, community members that are engaged and encouraging each other to be engaged. I'm hearing good representation. I want to try and shift us back to focus specifically on kind of the issue of policing. That's, I don't want to take up the rest of the agenda, but if I can ask just for a couple of, again, one-word answers, what are some things?
He got 2 more questions he's gonna ask with one answer response from the audience, then we'll go into the Q&A part, all right? So you got 2 more questions. If you ask the question, just throw out 1 or 2 words, 3 words, and I see the different hands of people who wants to ask some questions so we can have discussion.
Thank you. Okay, question number 2. What are some things, one-word responses, you want to see police do in the community? Police.
Come into compliance.
Come into compliance. Sir?
My one word is provided, and I say provided because of the
disparity between blacks and whites being arrested.
Okay. Addressing the divide.
I would like to know if our officers have like a counselor they can go to when they out here doing the job. Do they have support to be a better
Want to respond to that?
Because there's a lot of murders and stuff, and to see that as a retired nurse, I like this. It can affect your work.
Yeah.
I think it's important for the police chief to respond to that question.
Chief Todd, gonna hit that. Let's give our police chief a round of applause.
Thank you for that question. I think that the one thing that people forget sometimes is that our men and women are just like anybody in this room. They're just normal people. And yes, some of the things that they encounter, they can't even explain to their families. So I appreciate that fact, and it is important. Wellness to our officers is very important, because for them to be effective in the community, they have to be mentally okay to be out there. So it's something that we do keep a close eye on, and we do have wellness programs for our men and women. Thank you.
In the interest of time, I'm going to ask Dr. Nader to ask the last question, because it's going to feed right into us handing the mic back over to the mayor, and I'll explain why in a second.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, last question then, we'll get to it. This is going to be a raise your hand situation. How many of you would like to engage with CDP in future community meetings to help better police in your community? Show of hands if you're interested in doing that, in that engagement. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Round of applause, give a round of applause.
Thank you, Dr. Nader. Let's also give Dr. Anderson another big round of applause that we can for amazing leadership. Before I get to questions, and I'm going to take some questions, I'm sure Councilman Starr will take some questions, I want to say something very clear. We had the only office of police accountability in the mayor's office in the country. And that speaks to my commitment as your mayor to get this moment right. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall short. But we're going to listen. We're going to work hard to earn your trust. But we cannot do this without you. As she said before, we can complain all damn day. All damn day. It's easy to complain. But we know as a people, we gotta be a part of the solution, right? And so I can't do it without you. And that's why I'm here. And so I'm committed to listening, getting your feedback. The chief is, the command staff is, and so is Dr. Anderson. All right? All right. Let's take some questions.
All right, make sure I get this right. Well, Lamont is going around with a different microphone. I do see a couple hands that came up. So this is the type of opportunity to ask questions. We'll come here, we'll come to Red, then we're gonna come to Ms. Glover, then we're gonna come to Ms. Biggerstaff, and then we're gonna show our hands again and we got you, all right?
I just want
to... One thing I ask before you ask a question, please just state your name so we can just be familiar with each other, all right? If possible.
My name is Rochelle Coyer. I've been in CMHA, same apartment for 30 years. Never failed no inspection, never did nothing. They done moved 12 people next door to me, 7 kids in a 2-bedroom. And they constantly banging and banging and banging on my walls. And I called, and ain't nobody did nothing. And I just want to know, could somebody help me? Please.
So before you leave, where Donna at? Go see Donna, make sure you give her all your contact information, and I'm gonna call Mr. Patterson in the morning for you, okay? Right here. Right there.
Yeah, my name is Muhammad Dai. I'd like to ask a question to you, Mayor. Mayor Biggs. You swore an oath to uphold city charter. Charter section 115 specifically prohibits interference or non-cooperation with the CPC from the mayor, the safety director, and city officials like the law director. Your own administration has been accused in federal court of showing animosity toward the CPC. How do you reconcile that with your oath or your office in your own words? Could you explain that?
Yeah. Well, first, I'd say I want to be very clear about something. I endorsed the CPC when I ran for mayor, and as the mayor, I'm still supportive and committed to make sure the CPC is successful. Now, let me tell you a couple issues that we had in my first term with the CPC and some mistakes I made as a mayor and my administration made. Number one, I believe the CPC erred in its process to find a permanent executive director. It got off to a bad start. But we all know democracy is messy, y'all. America's been around for 250 years and we still ain't gotten some stuff right. So the CPC was not going to be successful in the first year or the second year or the third year. But in our next slate of appointees, I think we've appointed some common sense, pragmatic folk who were there to do the job and not politic. But we still have a long way to go. Now, I will say, in hindsight, there are some things we need to do as an administration, working with city council and working with these oversight bodies to make sure there's not a lot of red tape, not too much bureaucracy that undermines the ability of the police to do their job. Because it's always a balancing act. And so I will say, it got off to a rocky start. We made good progress over the last 2 years. We still have a long way to go. And I want to have Dr. Anderson talk specifically about what we're doing with the CPC in partnership with Federal Monitor to make sure that we can be compliant on that paragraph specifically with the consent decree. Doc?
Thank you, Mayor. Very, very valid question, and thank you. My team, the Police Accountability Team, meets every Thursday at noon with the CPC. We meet with the co-chairs and the executive director to troubleshoot any issues, to understand any issues, and to work with them to provide solutions. We also did an 8-hour boot camp with our urban analytics area. And one of the things that we did was we wanted to make sure that we are going through the process of making sure that they get what they need to be able to execute everything that is in the charter, right? As the mayor mentioned, democracy is messy, but I also like to say, you know, I study policy and we vote at the legislative level, right? We vote for things. And then when it becomes time to implement them, it's a very different process, and there are issues that get ran into all the time. It is not just Cleveland, it is not just the CPC, it is multiple entities across the board when it goes through the legislative and the policy process to then be implemented. And so I want to make it known that my team and I are committed to making sure that we work with them to go through whatever those challenges are. They are maturing as an entity, and we have to support them. But everybody has growing pains. And I think that that is just across the board. And so we are committed to making sure that we are giving them full access to anything that we have. And as well as we also meet with them, the Department of Justice and the monitoring team with the CPC working group once a month, every other Friday. Thank you.
Okay, I'm not gonna stand up because my mouth is kind of.
It's okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna say about maybe 5 weeks ago, we had Outway, Mr. Patterson, Ms. Greer. They had a meeting in the Legacy Park Apartments over here, and they're talking about combining the LAC, Carver, and Outway, a collaboration coming together to see once these schools finish and Dyke closed down, what can be done with them? Mm-hmm. And it was a very beautiful and successful meeting out of Ms. Greer's mouth. And I just felt like I was heard, and I felt like, and I just really feel like, you know, if everybody would like come together, like Outway was there, Carver was there, it was only certain ones out of both sides of the neighborhood that was there. So when they do start this up, because I'm gonna continue to go to the meetings, it's gonna be a beautiful thing because we're trying to do something before the end of the school year.
Yeah.
So they can have things to do like barbecues, bouncy houses. I brought up the thing with the young men, like get them like a stepping show, because when I went to John Hay, and when I went to John Hay, we had, Harry Davis, they brought in some girls from East High School that taught us these box steps. And then I went on to do like drill team and stuff like that. And I just know for a fact if this stuff gets going and prayer keeps coming, it's gonna be a change this summer. It has to be because it's a lot of young boys down here, they're walking around, and I don't like the looks that I'm getting, and I'm not even doing anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I just really truly believe by prayer and dedication and faith, it's all gonna come together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, my name is Brenda Bickerstaff. My brother was my police back in 2002. Instead of me complaining I did something, I'm the founder of Citizens for Safer Cleveland that created the Cleveland Police Commission. And I'm here to tell you I disagree with the mayor. The mayor did back it from the very beginning, but he's not backing it now. Things that's going on with the CPC, with the city, they're asking them to give them records so they can do the discipline what needs to be done with the police officers, and they're blocking them from doing it. So the stuff that he's talking about, then he said, $40 million we spent. $40 million we spent on the consent decree. They were on the hook for $763 million. This city has been unchecked with the police department for over 100 years. And the reason why the judge has a rule on this yet, with that motion, he wants to make sure if we cut it loose, that they're gonna do what they're supposed to do. And let me tell you something, I was on West 25th and Denison. I sit there for an hour, and I watched police cars pull over black young men. I went into the gas station, and the gas said, they do this all the time. So this is the issue. They want it gone so they can go back to their old behavior. So please, for 1 minute, don't sit here and listen to this stuff. Because at the end of the day, they should have been showing you charts and graphs and things so you can see it. It's another, is the court hearings that they have with the federal judge. And that happens at 3 o'clock. And most of you people are at work. So I want you to do your own research. And don't listen to what they're telling you up here because they're not being honest.
I agree with Ms. Bickerstaff. Don't listen to what we're saying. Yeah.
Give Ms. Bickerstaff a round of applause for that. She brought up the fact. Hold on. Let me say this. I'm gonna say this. But because I didn't want to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, I didn't even apply to get at the commission. And I could have. But because I want to be so fair, to make sure the men and women in blue get a fair shake, like civilians should get, I didn't even get on the commission. Yeah, but I did not, so I could be fair. But they wasn't fair that night when they pumped 5 bullets in my baby's back. That wasn't fair. I'm heard Ms. Bickerstaff. Like it's not.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'm a big advocate of doing your own research, absolutely. So one of the things that we have is online, we have the data portal, right? So Ms. Bickerstaff is right. We don't have graphs or charts here, but you can log onto the data portal and see use of force, search and seizure, crisis intervention numbers, right? I encourage you also, please go on and look at those numbers. Please go on and make your assessment for yourself. Absolutely. Check the data, yes. The other thing that I want to know is that with the records, right, we have 8 open records requests, but we have produced over, over at least 500,000 pages, I think, of documents over to the CPC, right? So we want to make sure that the CPC gets everything that they need. We want to make sure that the CPC gets everything that they're entitled to have. And so that is a priority.
Hello, my name is Terry McNeil, AKA Fix Our Streets 216. I have a technical question, probably be for the chief or the public safety chief. Does Cleveland Police use behavior analytics on one side of the police using behavior analytics to find out who's doing the bad stuff, and then the oversight using behavior analytics to make sure the police are policing the right way? Now, with all of this combined, all of this information can be compiled and make graphs and all this stuff. That information could be used in the police academy to train new officers. So behavior analytics in the real-time crime center.
That's great.
Through the video system on the poles and the video systems on the body cameras. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, that's an important question. So when we have an investigation related to any of our officers' actions, part of what is investigated is the body camera and any available city camera. And also they go and look at the stores and businesses to see if there's related video. As far as behavioral analytics, so we'll hit two things. Before an officer enters the police academy, part of that testing is a psychological exam that they have to pass. And we lose a good significant amount of potential candidates who don't pass that. When we have internally to monitor our officers, we have an early intervention program, which currently exists. And what that does is it flags officers who have a lot of use of force cases, who have a lot of complaints. We also have just hired another company called Benchmark Analytics. It's an outside resource to also measure those same things, to output that information so we can take early warning signs. But I can tell you, as chief, I watch the body camera videos. And if I see behavior that is continuing to be a potential issue, it is within my authority, and I have done it several times, I will remove an officer from the street till I figure out what's going on. And I just did this 2 days ago. And it was just a matter of, it could be nothing. You know, it's somebody I don't even particularly know. I'm just watching the interactions that I see as concerning. So now, that commander, our employee assistants, the union, the medical service providers will all sit down and take a hard look. Is there an issue? Is there something that is going on in that officer's life that needs to be addressed? Is this a policy or a training issue that needs to be changed? Or is it just a problem? So those are the things that are in place. And this is something that I constantly talk to our command staff about. I tell our commanders, especially those working closely with the officers, that we have to be mindful of. You know, we are a different division of police, you know, and we have to have the community feel that. And we have to have that difference, and this is part of that. So I hope that addresses your question as far as, did that address what you were asking?
It's close.
It's close. Did I miss something?
Well, it's more or less, I mean, everybody knows AI is coming. Okay, but see, people have this misconception that AI is going to replace everybody.
Right.
I've been using AI for the past 2 months, and to me, you have to put information in AI. It's not going to just magically work by itself. So between all the oversight committees and the police putting all this information along with information from us in the AI, it's going to tell you, okay, with this scenario, this is what the Cleveland police should be doing. And then you take that information, sitting down with your command staff, and then you all make the final say. It's not a thing to replace anybody. It's just giving you an extra set of eyes and an extra brain that's deciphering that information.
So when you talk about that, are you talking about external crime or internal problems? Okay.
Both, actually.
So when we talk about external crime, we have crime analysts, and that's all they do. They read, they look at the crime maps, they look at patterns, they work with a real-time crime center. So we have those are civilian employees. And when you talk about the external or the issues with the officers, those are the benchmark analytics, the employee intervention programs. So it's not, I wouldn't call it AI, but we are looking at data-driven deployment, data-driven how we, respond to our crime, and also how we look at our officers' behavior. Right, does that answer it?
Yeah, that's close. I use the example of, like, we have a camera up on 83rd and Superior that's looking down at a certain area. That camera should be the same as 2 police officers sitting in a car on that same corner. The difference is the 2 officers are using human brain. The camera could be feeding back to the AI.
So the only thing our cameras do, we have our real-time crime center, which are people that monitor that. They can't look at every city camera. But if a call for service comes over for a shots fired or a shot spotter call, there's people who work in the real-time crime center 24 hours a day. They immediately go and look at those cameras and they tell the officers, this is what we see, this is what happened, this is the description of the vehicle, this is the description of the offender, and then that is all fact-based. Nothing is on its own AI, everything is always looked at by a person, so that is a clear difference with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. As we wrap it up, I see it's about 4 more questions, and then we'll wrap up final.
How you guys doing this evening? My name is Rashad Reed. I had a 2-part question. I'm a new resident in World 5, and since I've been here the last 2 years, we have a lot of power outages. I want to know, what can we do about the power outages? I just even got a notification for my security home system. I
got you. Brian Casey, Councilman Casey.
I can try. Real quick, I hear you, and I feel your pain on this one. Obviously, we had a major weather event several days ago with that tornado. We had power outages both for CPP and First Energy. One of the things we're trying to do with the support of Councilman Casey and City Council is put together a transformation plan for Cleveland Public Power to modernize our infrastructure and modernize our grid. Now, this is going to take some time to do, but it's high on my list, and I know it's high on Councilman Casey's list as he leads the Public Utilities Commission for City Council. The other thing we're trying to do is I'm trying to do more mutual aid and hold First Energy more accountable for their outages. Historically, they have not prioritized the city of Cleveland when we have outages. They go to the suburbs first, then to Cleveland. It should be the other way around, right? So we're trying to get them to the table to hold them more accountable to make Cleveland a priority when we do have outages in the city. All right.
And I think it's, and also from that standpoint, I think the mayor probably could touch on when he say lack of investment into our grid for Cleveland Public Power, if you could just elaborate a little bit on that, about how we're so outdated.
Yeah, so we fund Cleveland Public Power based on the rates you all pay as customers. Now, and I know there was some pain because for the first time in 40 years, and Councilman Casey, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the first time in 40 years we actually raised rates, earlier last year rather. So we have to make sure that we work to get more investment at the local level and state level to modernize CPP over time so it can be a competitive utility for our residents. But also, instead of the state giving billions of dollars of First Energy, that's right, they should be giving that money to residents in Cleveland to lower utility costs. That's why when the government shut down and folks lost their SNAP and Section 8, we did a utilities moratorium to give people some breathing room, right? So the state's got to do their part to help us on this too. But it's on the list. It's on the list.
And that's why you need to vote for a new state representative coming May 5th.
Thank you for that. that. And the other part of my question is, I've been blessed to become a homeowner. And my concern with being a homeowner is uplifting my neighborhood. I stay on 71st and Chamberlain, and on my street there is 9 houses. But there are also 9 empty lots. I want to know, is there any grants or anything that the city has in place for homeowners to take over some of this vacant land so we can get the landscape looking better in the city?
Starr, you got it.
Yes, so one of the things we've been working on the last 2 years, in particular, to the lot next to your house. So he has one of these vacant lots that was designated for OSU extension for a garden. It has never got off the ground. It has never been utilized. So during the last 2 years, we started to do this transformation where vacant lot properties, as well as some of the community development bureaus, have transferred into one department right now. So they had closed the side lot and vacant lot portal because they wanted to move everything over. So right now, this spring going into the summer, I talked to the director. They should have the program up and running. I still got your application. I still got your address. So we're going to try to get that lot over to you because you want to invest in that. One of the things is we got to make it more accessible and working with the mayor and administration to get these lots into people's hands that want to do something instead of just being vacant, which it can help you on your property.
And we got to cut the red tape so it's easier to give you that land too.
Yes. Yep. Hold on, we got two in the back. All right.
Hi everyone, my name is Lorraine, and I'm a member of Ward 5. I've been staying down here since 1973. And the thing that I see a lot of is a bickering about justice, injustice. Mayor Bibbs, this is the first time I ever seen you.
Right, me too.
This is the first time I actually ever seen you. And I was just sharing this with the girl out back here. You know, and it's a pleasure to meet you finally. I haven't personally met you, but I am before this night is out. As far as Ward 5. District 3, y'all do an amazing job for us. The policing down here, my hat's off to you. It's a 3-minute response. Y'all do a due diligent job down here. These children, like this, you see how this meeting is right now? If we get out and vote, the way this meeting is filled up right now, we can have some repercussions at the polls. But a lot of y'all that's in here right now, I have never seen you in a meeting. I knocked on doors and I begged people to go vote. And they will not. They don't think they vote their mouth matter, and it does.
Come on.
So you see people like us sitting back here, we not just sit here, I'm taking notes. See, there's things that you want to be like, and there's things that you don't. We got to stand for something or we'll fall for anything.
Come on now.
And right now, you got your hands filled. And as far as the violence, these children, parents, need to be held accountable for their children's actions. Wow. I'm a mother of 5. I have 4 daughters and 1 son. I know where my children are at. I know where my 17 grandchildren are at. So when the kids, when all of these guns are being placed out here, where are they coming from? Here I'm 57 years old, 58 years old, gonna be 59 in, I ain't gonna say it in a couple days. I'm an Aries in the house. But what I'm saying is, I don't even own a gun. But if you look to the right, you got somebody pulling up a gun. You got these people drag racing up and down the streets. Central, Cedar, Quincy, doing 360s. And a lot of these residents in this room right now, they asked you with the spot fighting, with cameras. They didn't want them in their area. I got one over where I live at. I bet you I do. I should. You can get it. But the thing of it is, we as a community have to stand together. It's not about who we bashing. Because at the end of the day, our councilman do a heck of a job. He does some things, I promise you, he bring it to the table and he take it back to his part, which is standing up here, and I thank you for coming to our meeting today.
Thank you already.
So, with that being said, I will pass this mic.
Rosemary.
Good afternoon. My name is Rosemary Anderson, and I've been part of Ward 5 for 35 years, since 1990, when I was just me and my oldest daughter. And I am the precinct member for Ward 5. And I agree with 100% what she said. You know, one thing I can say is power and numbers. We must get out and vote. It is 3 elections this year, not 1, but 3. We got the primary, special election, and the general. We have to get out and vote. And as far as the police are human too. They don't want our children shooting at them. They want to go home to their family too. They have a life. So they try to do the best they can. You know, so that's what I want to say is powers and numbers. Get out and vote. Mr. Bill, I saw you several times. I even saw you up there at New Eastern Park with Ward 4. You know, you understand? So I saw you several times. And Councilman Richard Starr, you're excellent.
Thank you.
You're excellent. You allow the power of God to work through you to try to help the community. And I love you for that. You know, and you know, with that I pass. Like I say, the police want to go home too. They have a family and they try to do things like that. And one thing I want to say, we can't, as parents, be disrespectful to the police in front of our children. Because if we disrespectful to them, they will do the same thing to the police.
Hi, I'm Allie. My principal, Ann, and I just founded a school in Slavic Village to serve special education students. So our question is for the Chief of Police on, so our students often experience mental illness and their families don't know who to call. And so what is your team at the city and the police department doing to work on preventing students from falling further into the school to prison pipeline? Because it's our job and our work to make that stop. So what are you doing?
So that's a great question that you have. And part of what we have is our community engagement officers at our districts, including we also have energy officers, which are neighborhood officers. And I would encourage you, I believe you're in the 4th district, to get with the Commander Smith in the back there and make sure you are connected with him so his officers are aware of the needs of the school, because it's about the relationships. And I know with the CMSD schools, they have their own police, but that doesn't mean that we're not a part of that. And there's any educator, any community group that wants officer presence, that's what we're here for. Your commanders, especially for the 3rd and 4th districts, are standing right back there. Reach out to us. We want to be a part of the community. We want to engage with you. We want to build this trust, but we have to have a line of communication. So I would encourage you, there's a lot of different schools that kids will go play basketball, they'll play basketball with the kids. They have safety conversations. We have a lot of resources, so I would really encourage you to connect and share their information.
Thank you. What about families who experience mental illness with their child or with themselves? How are you guys engaging with those families and meeting them where they are?
So our officers, all of our officers, for the most part, are trained in crisis intervention. Then we also have specialty crisis intervention officers, as well as co-responders, which is a specialized crisis intervention officer paired with a civilian clinician. And they go out and do proactive family meetups, the follow-up conversations. So we have all of those things embedded within the Division of Police. I think Dr. Anderson touched on the fact that our use of force on crisis calls is 0.02%. Our officers are trained in de-escalation. They're trained in how to recognize a mental health crisis. And we have our co-responder follow-up teams as well.
Thank you so much.
One more thing I want to add that we didn't touch on, because of the great work we've done with community activists and city council, particularly Stephanie House Jones, we passed Anisha's Law earlier this year. This new law does 2 things. We can clap for Anisha's Law, y'all. Come on now, that's you. So this law does 2 things. Number 1, it's going to add a 4th option to 911 around mental health. The second thing it does, we created a brand new Bureau of Crisis Community Response inside of the Division of EMS, right? So now we have both a police, law enforcement, trauma-informed care and response, and a non-police trauma-informed care response model, right? So to make sure that residents are getting everything they need when they call 911. All right?
Oh, man.
Mr. Dante Taylor has been trying to ask a question for all night.
So, in context to that, I know.
I've seen Ms. Britt Jackson, you done text me 3 times, so y'all know what's up, okay? So, Ms. Bridget?
Yes, my name is Bridget Smith Jackson, and I want to thank you all for acknowledging the flaws in the system, and also taking accountability for the lapse in working with the CPC over the last few years. My question is, given the reality that the system is flawed, and I did hear you loud and clear, historically, there's no succession plan. However, given our deep history with all that has transpired here in Cleveland, what is Cleveland's plan to ensure that we do have the oversight and protections that we need, so to ensure that we don't have, a repeat of what happened in the past? And then my other question is, beyond tonight, where could people stay involved with this conversation and what happens around the planning for the city?
Doc. You want to wait for the end?
Okay. She gonna close it up. Got your question, Matthew on?
How's it going, Matthew on 5C. So the mayor said he wants policing. The mayor said that he wants policing to move at the speed of trust. It seems that many people in this room, based on the questions that were asked earlier, don't find those statistics necessarily good enough. But we're being asked to rely on those statistics to believe in an improvement that a lot of folks don't perceive. So I want to ask, how are the monitoring teams finding better checked for accuracy aside from internal self-reporting? One of the findings that I was very surprised about in the March 2026 report is the finding that the police department is compliant on the question of retaliation when the highest profile criminal trial of 2025 included body cam footage that indicated that at least one investigating officer was aware that one of the defendants who was ultimately acquitted had recently been awarded money for prior police misconduct. Now, I want to be clear, right? I'm not trying to say that police leadership is doing anything wrong, but sometimes these things don't get reported up. And so, what are the other protections?
What specific case are you alluding to?
That is it's the New Era trial, where there was body cam footage where the responding officer said, we just want a settlement from the city, now we have something on you.
I'd like to give you my card so that we could maybe talk.
Sorry. What was? I'm sorry.
I'd like to give you my card because I haven't seen the body camera footage, and I'd like to provide you with a wholesome response.
Okay.
And
sure.
Absolutely, we can talk about that.
We'll connect. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I know I'm horrified.
Hey, my name is Dante Taylor, and I'd like to know is, do the police chief live in Cleveland, Ohio?
I'm not going to tell you exactly where I live, but I can tell you that I did grow up on the west side of Cleveland. I did raise my daughter on the west side of Cleveland. I went to school in Cleveland. And I've been with the Division of Police for 26 years, and I've been with the City of Cleveland for 28 years.
She's one of the best damn police chiefs we've ever had in the City of Cleveland. All right. You got
Hello, everybody. My name is Christian. I'm a resident of Ward 5, but I'm Ward 9. I'm sorry, but I'm in Ward 5 today. I'm glad to be here. I'm also a graduate of Kent State University, so go Flashes. Go Flashes with the police training. I have also, as I said, I've grown up in Cleveland, and policing is also has always been one of my interests. So I'm also really nervous, y'all, but I feel compelled to speak as policing has been, one of an interest of mine. So, these past couple of years, I have been going to Cleveland Police Commission meetings that's very empty. They're very empty. So I just want to point out, as what the consent decree requires, clear use of force, policies and de-escalation. I just kind of had a question like how clear this is. Improved officer training. Like I said, shout out to Kent State University and the training that we hope to have. I want to express my disapproval of the vacate of the consent decree because we don't have this in practice now. So if it's not in practice now, it's I don't know. I'm big on actions speak louder than words. So if we don't have this in practice now, like it was mentioned, where is it going to go? Where is the accountability? Or another consent decree requirement, civilian oversight through the Cleveland Community Police Commission. CPC just got a executive director, this year. They haven't had one in the past 3 years, nor the 3 years it was implemented. So, the stability of, there has been improvements, but the structures in place to sustain improvement isn't there whatsoever, specifically with community and community engagement. So, like I said, I just want to express my disapproval of the vacate of the consent decree, as certain things should be implemented prior so that it can continue to be sustainable, such as training, such as community engagement, and then even going to the fire over here with the Cleveland Police Commission. Shout out to the CPC that was established under the Bibb administration. No one from the CPC is here, and no one from the CPC had an input on the motion to vacate the consent decree. So like I said, I just want to express my disapproval of the vacate of the consent decree. I want to encourage everybody to share their story on record. Like it was mentioned, it's being heard in the courtroom. We need to express our stories on record to our city councilmen and use those avenues. And I guess if I did have a question, what was more important in the decision to vacate the consent decree? Was it community or cost? What was more important?
So I would like to thank you for the comments and the questions. So I'd like to just clarify, when an officer does something wrong, it's not Judge Solomon Oliver or the monitor that holds them accountable. It is actually the police chief and these local accountability systems that are already in place that holds that officer accountable. So I just want to note that the idea of the consent decree, right, that Judge Solomon Oliver may come back through, but that we have enough local oversight systems that are in place, including the CPC, which look at these areas, right? So when an officer goes through, there is a full disciplinary process that the officer will go through. If there is training or retraining that needs to happen, that is also prescribed. So we have what's called a force review board, and they meet once a month, also seen by the monitoring team. And one of the things that the force review board does is they look at body camera footage and they make sure that it's in compliance with the policy. Now, one of the things that we also know is policies, training, and assessments. Those are the 3 areas of the consent decree. The first area is policy. All of the policies that the police department now has have been not only reviewed by the federal monitoring team, the Department of Justice, but Judge Solomon Oliver, and then they are, in some cases, also the CPC, depending on when they came out, and then implemented at the implemented at the police department. All training goes through the CPC, the Federal Independent Monitor, the Department of Justice, the federal judge, and then it comes back to the police chief to then be implemented and trained on. So I just want us to understand a little bit more about how all of these systems are currently working together. And you're absolutely right. We talked about the fact of a succession plan, and that is why we are having this conversation today. And one of the things that I wanted to just end with, I want to give a heartfelt thank you to everyone. When I came out of St. Louis, Missouri, I went to Howard University. The Mecca had a blast, HU. Had a really good time, but I learned a lot. And I learned a lot about community. I learned a lot about how to move things forward. And one of the things I learned is I'm going to be thankful, not just for supporters, but for skepticism, because you're also participating. And that is the first step. So thank you. And one of the things that I wanted to end with was just a communal activity. Can we each, and it would be important if you not yell so that we can hear across the room, right? But I think it's important for your neighbors to hear. What's one word that you're taking with you from this event? Okay. And I think that that's going to be something that continues to inform. And two, we had a question about where this goes forward, right? So we will be working with Kent State to have more of these listening sessions. He has already said, Ms. Armstrong, where's Yolanda, that, you know, we'd love to come back to Friendly Inn and engage even more, right? So it's not easy, but we have to start somewhere. And I want to say thank you for those of you that started today. And then thank you for those of you that have been on the journey. And for those of you that are considering joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.